makes it more jealous. Oh, don't get me wrong, I just think they fit me better. By the face, what more can I say? I'm a star, nigga, like my cake. Started pulling on some weight, I'm hitting hard, nigga. Hey, yeah, alright, show you right. Try to front your move, you be parked outside.
Hey yo, what up YouTube? It's your boy Eli and I'm back with another video, and today we're going to talk about finance, making sure you got your money right. Specifically what we're going to talk about is credit. Before we get started with that topic though, let's address an elephant in the room. I have a bonnet on. Like, why do I have a bonnet on, right? What's going on here? Like, only girls wear bonnets. What's happening? On the contrary, bonnets have become a real real fashion statement for guys as of late, as of the past like months, half a year or so. Like, guys have been wearing bonnets. So bonnets are fake the wave, man. I mean, you throw on your do-rag, throw a bonnet on afterward, throw on your wave cap, throw a bonnet on afterward. It's become a style. This particular bonnet though is above the rest. This bonnet is heat. Like let me show you how heat it is. Hold on. Oh, so I was waiting on my powers. If you know, you know I was waiting on my power. But yeah, so this bonnet, look at this, bro. Look at this. Like, I just went from black to kente in 2.5. This is fire. Now, after I just blew your mind, you're probably wondering, yo, where did this guy get this bonnets from? Like, what? This bonnet is heat. I need one. I got you with the Instagram for the bonnets right here. And this is from JussBoutique. JussBoutique did these bonnets, and she did that. All right, enough with the free promo. Let's get down to the business at hand. We talking credit. Credit is the move. Don't pay attention to my hair. That's why I'm putting on this hat. Yeah, my hair's not enough. Enough with the aesthetics. Let's dive into it. I bet. So yeah, what is credit? There's a great definition on the web talking about what credit is, and I'm gonna read it to y'all here. According to Financial Dictionary, thefreedictionary.com/credit. They eloquently and simply put the definition of credit as the ability to borrow or purchase goods and services with payment delayed beyond delivery. Basically, you don't have the money, but you know you're going to have the money, so you go to a financial institution to borrow the money. Or in a more practical sense, even wealthy people do this. You have the money for something, but instead of shelling out all that money at once, for example, like a house that may be worth $500,000, you take the bank's money to buy the house and then use that $500 and invest it and grow your overall net worth, right? So that's a more practical sense of using credit. Now, don't be fooled. You are still a complete stranger to this financial institution. Therefore, even though they're allowing you to borrow their money, there's this beautiful thing. It's actually not beautiful at all, but there's this thing called interest, where you not only pay them back the money that you borrowed, but you give them basically more money than what you borrowed, I guess kind of as a thank you for us lending you money. To give a little more insight into interest, interest is based off this thing called an APR, annual percentage rate. So basically, if you have a credit card and you spend $100 on that credit card and it takes you a whole year to pay that $100 back, and let's say that credit card's APR is 25%, the bank or financial institution that you have that card with just made $25 off of you within that year, just for you borrowing $100. Now, I use a small number for math's sake, but you can realize how at bigger scales, these banks are racking in the dough from interest. Fear not, interest is avoidable. You just have to pay your balance off within 30 days of that purchase, or else, boom, you get that interest. And just to clarify interest and to be clear about how APR works, if you have a 25% interest rate, that doesn't mean 25% of your balance will be added every month. It actually means 25 divided by 12 will be added to your monthly balance, because your annual percentage rate is based off a year, hence the word annual. However, interest is given to the credit card holder or the loan holder every month. So they don't hold all the interest until the end of the year. They give it out every month, which means you have to calculate your annual interest rate by dividing it by 12, since the distribution of interest is done monthly. All right, I've run through the basics of credit, basically what credit is and interest. Now I'll talk about different types of credit. It's real quick. You got auto loans, mortgages, credit cards, student loans, basically any money that's borrowed from a legitimate institution. I'm not talking about asking your mans for $20. That's not, I mean, that's street credit. That's not credit though. Now here are things that are not credit, but technically can help your credit worthiness and or credit score. Utility bills, rent, phone bills, basically any bills. Because with bills, you're not borrowing money, you're more so borrowing a service, but that service requires payment, reoccurring payment. And reoccurring payment is similar to that of credit. Therefore, lenders look at you like, okay, this is not necessarily a credit card, but you have a history of making payments on time, at least for a service. So they don't count as a account on your credit. They don't really do much to your credit score. It's just kind of an auxiliary thing that tells lenders that you're good with money. For example, when I applied to get this apartment, they ran my credit, but it didn't show up on my report because an apartment is not a lender. They're not giving me money to live here. They're just trying to see, am I good with money? So they ran my credit history and saw that I was, and boom, I live here now. Now I feel like I've talked a lot about credit, at least the basics. If you have more questions, put them in the comments. But I'm gonna go into like a Q&A. I dropped a poll on Instagram a couple weeks ago asking people what they want to hear about credit. So I had the questions lined up right next to me, so I'll be reading them off and then giving you answers. First up, question is the best credit cards with low interest to build your credit. So here's a kicker with that one. If you have credit that needs to be rebuilt, unfortunately you may not be applicable for low interest cards, but the best credit building cards are secured credit cards. The reason for that being, regular credit cards, when you do an application, they don't require any deposit. It's literally based off your credit worthiness. So for example, if you get approved for $10,000, you had to give no money and you're given $10,000 in credit. However, with a secured credit card, the financial institutions will require a deposit from you. The one I prefer the most is the Capital One secured credit card, simply because they ask for the least money. That was my first ever credit card ever. Freshman year of college, when I realized that my credit score was in the 500s and credit was really important. But yeah, almost every bank does a secured credit card. Capital One just asks you for the least amount of money. You give them $50, they give you a $200 limit, and then you can give more money and get higher limits. Versus a bank that I bank with, TD, I know that they'll ask for all the money up front, so you'd have to give them $500 for a $500 credit limit, $200 for a $200 credit limit. And that's usually how secured credit card works. So that's why I feel like the Capital One is a little bit of a life hack where you give less and you get more. If you're still quite young and you're a student, the Discover credit cards are also really good. Those don't usually require a deposit, and on top of that, they give you a little money for getting a good grade point average. I think it's above a 3.0 semester, and they give you like $20. It's free money is free money. But yeah, those are really good, and they don't often require crazy credit scores or history of credit to get approved. Next question up on the list was fastest way to build my credit. The fastest way you want to go about that is using credit. More specifically, long-term purchases. So offers that have like 0% interest for X amount of months. For example, the Apple card, Best Buy card, the app, I think Amazon does that with their credit card as well. Those conditions there are the fastest way to build your credit because you're basically put on a payment plan. They're basically telling you that you have 0% interest for these amount of months. So if you're successfully able to pay back the money you've borrowed over that long period of time, then they know that you're good with money. A lot can happen in 24 months. That's 2 years. So the fact that you were still able to make your payments on time and not leave a balance on that account that you took 24 months to pay off, credit bureaus and just in general institutions see that as a very promising feature. So in short, fastest way to build your score is to finance things. Finance. Preferably at 0%, but for example, when you finance a car, a lot of times it's not 0%. Sometimes there is. Like the 0% APRs, those are clutch. I'm telling you, if there's something you want and it has that option, use it. But also be smart with it. Because if you were listening earlier, I told you interest is how they make money off of you. So if they're offering 0%, how are they making money? Well, let's say you have a 24-month financing option at 0%. If the 25th month comes and you haven't paid off that balance, all that interest that you skipped out on gets automatically applied. So you got 2 years worth of interest coming to you if you don't pay that balance off. So they know how to get you. They're just playing the waiting game. So if you win and pay that balance completely in 2 years, you're Gucci. Next question up on the list was personal versus business credit cards. For my small business owners and anybody who's trying to start a business, basically these business credit cards have a little more tracking and tech within the softwares and the people who are overseeing it to actually have it geared towards your business. So there are different business bureaus. You have a business credit score and a personal credit score, so you can't really take a business credit card and be like, oh, it's lit, and use it for your own stuff. They will flag you. So business credit cards are literally meant for businesses. You'll get higher limits. You won't be flagged as much on reoccurring expenses, but yeah, it's different. Don't try to use them as the same. They're not. Next question kind of gears back to the best credit cards for beginners, more so best methods for beginners. Basically, credit looks at the amount of accounts you have, the amount of credit you have, and your credit utilization to start. There are other things that are involved, but as a beginner, you really can't control it, like age of history, amount of inquiries, because obviously if you're applying for cards, you're gonna get a lot of inquiries. So yeah, the things you can control is the number of accounts you have, your overall credit utilization, and I forgot what I said. Just rewind and you'll hear what I said from before. But no, yeah, another pro tip is you find someone that you trust financially that may already have credit cards and beg them to make you an authorized user. You don't even have to get the card to use it. Just say, hey, could you put me on your account as an authorized user? That way I'm benefiting from your credit use. I do that for my little sister right now. However, she does use the card. It's a bit annoying, but okay. She doesn't use it too much, but like basically I did it more so for my actions credit-wise to benefit her because she's not really knowledgeable in the subject. Just to reiterate, just to make sure I answered the question, best cards to start out with are secured credit cards because all you gotta do is give them a deposit and you're almost guaranteed a line of credit. Unless your credit is too good, then you should just look into low-level credit cards. And then become an authorized user on as many accounts as you can, just so you have a lot of accounts, especially at the young age of your credit. So you're benefiting from those ages of credit as well. All right, the next question is about benefits, because you're probably like, okay, you're basically just telling us we could borrow money from people and then there's a potential to pay more than what we borrowed. Why would I even do that? Just save your money, get your money up, right? So here's the thing. Once you get to a better point in life where you have better credit, probably 700s and up, you have access to credit cards that actually reward you for spending your own money. For example, you go to Walmart, you spend $100 to $200 on groceries, you pay cash, you get nothing for it. I go to Walmart, I spend $100 to $200 on groceries, I get American Express points that I can then redeem for gift cards, for money towards my statement, for pretty much a plethora of rewards that you get for literally doing something you were going to do anyway. That is why credit survives on this earth, because the actual basis of it is stupid. You borrow money that you don't have just to potentially pay more because you didn't have the money, but you really wanted whatever you wanted to buy. But when you add the element of rewarding the purchaser just for swiping your card, and then you pay that off literally that day, the next day, or before interest occurs at the end of the billing cycle, you're getting free money for spending your money. Like, guys, I went to Atlanta for my birthday for $11 round trip because I spend my money. It's crazy. The next one is talking about whatever you got to do to raise your score. So if you already have a established credit score and it's kind of stagnant, I would say you got to focus on the key determining factors, which is credit utilization, the amount of accounts, hard inquiries. You can't control age. You just can't. Like, I think that's stupid. That's a stupid part of credit. Like, these credit bureaus basically tell you need an average of 9 years of more of credit history just to have excellent credit in that department. So basically, let's say you acquire that 9 years, right? All you have to do is apply for one more card, and that is done, because it's an average. Just like, why? Like, what? It's okay, because I've gone through it, and I guess it makes sense, because for someone that's been doing it for so long, you're obviously trustworthy. But it's just frustrating as a young person that has relatively good credit, that's the one thing from holding you back from essentially like an 800 score. Also, a huge one I haven't even talked about yet is payment history. Payment history is single-handedly probably the most important thing when it comes to your credit. You miss one payment and you are like, they cancel you. That and derogatory marks. So derogatory marks are basically like a balance that you just forgot about completely, or not at least forgot about, you gave up on, so you never paid it. Outstanding bills, like a hospital bill or more, anything that you just said, screw it, I'm not paying for this, and that institution sent your account to collections. So now they basically just told other people to deal with you. That your job is to deal with people who don't like to pay their things back. So yeah, raising your score just comes down to either keeping these things I've mentioned in good standing. Once again, I'm just going to look at the screen so I can tell them to you. They're payment history, credit card use, derogatory marks, age of credit, which is stupid, total accounts, and hard inquiries. Keep those things in good standing, or have them improved, or continue to improve them for you to raise your credit. So this next one is a cluster question. We got a bunch in one. It's how do I use credit? When do I use credit? How do I improve my credit? And the importance of credit. So I'm going to just attack these points head on. How do I use it? You use it through either a credit card, a loan financed through a bank. Those are the main ones, honestly. Everything is just a derivative of those two. So either a loan or a credit card. When do you use credit? You either use credit to supplement funds that you don't have at the moment, or you use it to leverage someone else's money for your own personal gain. Basically, if you need to buy food and you don't have money in your account, you use your credit card, and then when you get the money in your account, you pay it off. Or B, the example I used earlier, if you're trying to buy something big like a house or like a bunch of cars for a business, you take a bank loan and then you use that money to fund your business so you can make even more money, pay off the bank loan, and then start making profit. So basically, you had no money to start that up. You just had good credit, and you turned not having any money. You used someone else's money because you had good credit and built yourself a multi-million-dollar transportation business or whatever you're doing. So that's how you would essentially use credit. There are more other ways, but I'm just giving you more concise, like direct ways that'll help you. How do you improve your credit? Again, those key 6 points: payment history, credit card usage, derogatory marks, age of credit, total accounts, and hard inquiries. That is how you improve your credit. You follow those trends, whether they're going up or down, and you control those trends with your personal credit score. The importance of credit. If you're someone who cares about cash rules everything around me, cash is king, credit may not be that important to you. Somebody I watch on YouTube and follow for financial literacy is David Ramsey. He hates credit. He says he works at the time of the pace of money. What he means by that is, for example, he was always talking about this $50 million building that he's building. Yes, building that he's building. But yeah, he talks about that building and like how he does not want a bank loan. If he got a bank loan, he could build the building yesterday. But he's building it at the time of money, so whatever he's getting money from his endeavors, which is YouTube, financial investments, etc., that's when he's adding infrastructure to that building. However, if you want to be like the rest of these billion and trillionaires, Jeff Bezos, who take the bank's money willy-nilly, they don't care. They know they're billionaires and trillionaires, but they take someone else's money, leverage it, and get even richer, then credit's really important. Or if you just want to be, live the American dream, the average American, most of the cars you see are owned by the bank. The people driving around in cars, very few people go and pay the car outright. The cars are owned by the bank and people are just making payments. Most of the houses people live in are owned by the bank and people are just making payments. So if you just want to be an average American and live the life that you see people with money doing, they're going through credit. You need good credit to get a good car, a good house, unless you're going to pay those things with money. If you're willing to shell out the 50, 60 grand you want for your BMW, Benz, Tesla, whatever dream car you want, if you're willing to shell that cash out all at once, kudos to you. If you're willing to drop the 500, 600, 750 to $1 million on a house straight in cash, kudos to you. For the people who either don't have that money or you want to leverage those funds elsewhere while taking the bank's money and eventually being able to pay it off due to the fact that you leverage your funds, credit's really important. So I hope that answers how to use it, when to use it, how to improve it, and the importance. My lights are motion censored, so that's why they just turned on randomly. Next question asks, what is the number one rule when it comes to credit? I would say that there is 2 number one rules. I know, but bear with me. Rule number one, spend what you have. If they give you a credit card with a $1,000 limit and you only have $300 to your name, do not spend $600. You don't have the money. Rule number 2, number 1. Rule number 2. The second number 1 rule is do not miss a payment. It is hard to recover from missed payments. Now, there's a little trick. If your due date is the 20th and it's the 21st and you wake up and you say, oh my God, I missed my payment, you really didn't miss it. There's technically like an unwritten 30-day grace period threshold that if you call them and just give them a sob story, they will take your payment. It's happened to me. I've missed a payment by like 3 days and I'm just like, oh my goodness. But I made the payment anyway. And the only thing you get hit with is a late payment fee. Sometimes you can't come back from that. They're usually about $25 to $37 to $40. And it's just money. You gotta take the L. You missed a payment, my mans. The first time they usually like let you rock, but yeah, don't miss a payment. Next question is how you get an 800 score. I don't have an 800 score myself, so I don't think I'm best equipped to answer the question. But based off my knowledge of credit, my safest bet would be to say have green in every category that has to do with managing your credit. So right now, my age of credit is just, I haven't had credit for 9 years to even have an average of 9-year credit. So I don't think I'll be seeing a 800 credit score till I'm like 30. Now, don't get me wrong. I know people who have 800 credit scores under the age of 30, but they either were authorized under their parents since like they were 10, which I also know friends like that, or the algorithm that the credit bureaus are using for them are a little different. I don't know, but I just know I've done math simulations. I'm not seeing an 800 credit score until my age of credit is lit. So next question is, can I borrow some of yours? No. Next question is ways of obtaining credit. You can obtain credit basically anywhere. You can go online. You can go into a bank. You can go into a car dealership. You can go into anywhere. Like, bro, if you have an iPhone, you can go into the wallet app and get credit. That is how Apple does their Apple credit card applications. You literally need an Apple device. And all of these lines of credit are linked to a financial institution. For example, the Apple card is actually linked with Goldman Sachs because Apple is not a bank. Or people who do auto loans, for example, my parents' auto loan, even though they may think it's with Honda because we have a Honda, it's actually with Wells Fargo. So these are all linked to institutions no matter what. And the last question in the Q&A that I did on Instagram is rebuilding. I've touched on this, but of course it's always important to emphasize and repeat things that have great importance to a subject, and rebuilding is important because for most people, credit is important in this world. I'm not going to generalize it and say it's important for everyone, because there are people who work at the pace of money, i.e. Dave Ramsey, but rebuilding. So you need to fix your payment history. That's most times why somebody's in a bad situation with credit. Then your derogatory marks also need to be dealt with. This is often when you have to call credit bureaus and arrange some type of payment, either all in full, which is recommended because you've already shown that you don't have a great history with payment plans. But yeah, usually when you have bad credit, it's mainly because of those two. Your payment history is not at 100%, and your derogatory marks are way more than what they should be. Everything else is kind of fixable in general trends. Again, the age of credit you can't do nothing about. Credit utilization, just pay off your credit cards or loans or whatever. Well, no, pay off your credit cards. Loans have nothing to do with credit utilization. It's credit card utilization, so pay off your credit cards. Total accounts. It's funny, 21 accounts is seen as an excellent thing because you have a lot of accounts and you're able to make payments and you're able to manage your money. And then hard inquiries. Chill out with applying for cards. You should probably do like 2 cards every 2 years just so you don't look like a risk. Alright, so boom, I've hit the end of the video. I hope I've answered all your questions. I hope I've educated you a little more about what credit is. Leave any questions you have in the description. If you know me, text me, message me privately. Please leave a like. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I'm on the journey to 1K subscribers. Every 100 subscribers, I'm doing a giveaway. So stay tuned. I'm bringing you more content, more videos. I'm going to do a little bit of everything. And we'll see what pops. So thank you guys for tuning in. Get your credit up. Dang. I feel so cool saying the get your credit up thing, but I can't forget this. I'll leave the link in the description for my recommended secured credit cards and credit building. Also, I'm gonna put a link down here for Credit Karma. If you don't have a Credit Karma account, you should make one. It's a great way to manage your credit. This video is not sponsored by them. I just think it's a great tool. And then I'll leave other useful links about credit that I may or may not have mentioned in the video already. Also, JussBoutique, get on them bonnets, man. These things is heat. All right, I'm out, y'all.